Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be back with you. I know it's been a little while since my last video. I've got a Project Life video for you today, and this one is from Halloween. So it's going to be week 44, and right now I've got some photos printed out and I am just trying to figure out where I am going to put them. I knew I wanted to spread out the ones that had the green in them, the ones of the kids in their Halloween costumes. So I put one at the top on the left and then one on the bottom. Currently I am looking through all of my 4x6 cards because I need a title card. And I know I want something with some color in it. I also have a few colors that I want to incorporate into this spread. And it's going to be some orange and pinks and blues and greens. Now that I have my stack of potential title cards, I know that I want to use this acrylic piece from Colorcast Designs. As you can see, the piece is white, so I needed something that had some color on the title card so that way it would show up better. And I first went with that orange card, and then I try out a few other options, and I end up going with this one that has the plaids because it had a lot of the colors that I wanted to use throughout the spread. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it there for now. Next up in my process is that I'm going to look through some of my 3x4 cards. I need a few journaling cards and maybe a couple filler cards. And these ones are mostly from my recent Studio Calico kit. I also want to leave a few more spots for 2 other 3x4 photos, so I am keeping that in mind. Now that I've got the cards that will most likely work, I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want them and which stories I want to put on them. Now that I've figured out my cards, I have those 2 spots that are left that I'm pointing at. Those are going to be photos that I'll print out here in a minute. And now I'm going to move on to do some embellishing. I know that I have a few things that I want to add right now. And so I'm going to pick out a star to put on the photo of our candy dish. I recently picked up a digital brush set from Paislee Press that is fall and Halloweenish. I've added one of the digital brushes onto that photo. It says Sweet Treats. I've also added a few more of the digital brushes onto the cards and the photos, and I'll talk about those in a minute. And now I've gone ahead and printed out my 2 3x4 photos. One of them is from the Stranger Things Series 2, and the other photo is of some pumpkins that I had that I took some photos of. Right now you'll see that I'm going to swap out that black and white filler card with this one that I actually put together using the spider web from the digital brush set from Paislee Press, and you can find that at the lily pad. I'm going to use the letter U up above the word zombie because Maddie was a cheerleader, a zombie, for Halloween. You can see that I've added her photo from Halloween right below that zombie card. I'm also going to be adding one of the wood bats from the Colorcast Design sets that comes with that acrylic piece, and then it has a total of 3 bats. And so I will leave the link below, so hopefully you can find that in her shop if you're interested. Just trying to put that bat right where I want it, kind of tucked in the corner of the U and the word zombie, and I finally got it put on there. So I'm going to move on to my title card now. I'm going to go ahead and put down that acrylic piece. I've printed on the card the week number and then also the days right there underneath. I'm going to add the tiny little bat right where the dot of the eye would be. So I'm going to tuck that right in there. And that way my title card will be done. Here's a close-up look for you so you can see the acrylic piece a little bit better. And now I am going to move on. I'm going to do some embellishing. At this point, most of my spread is done. I have some journaling left to do. So I'm going to just go ahead and do some stamping. I put a few little stamps on that candy card. Next up is this pie chart card. It's a filler card, and I put one of the digital stamps on the bottom from Paislee Press. And then I'm going to put another one of those bats on the card. And I thought it would be fun to add the number 31. So I looked through all of my letters to see if I wanted to add a color and which color I wanted. In the end, I went with white because it's kind of fun to just put white on white with a little bit of color in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and put the number 31 with the hashtag on there. I'm going to go ahead and add the last bat that is in the set. There's 3 of them. That way I could spread the bats out among my spread. So now that my filler card is done, I'm going to move on to my last photo. And I thought at first I wanted to try to rearrange the pictures. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to put it at first, and so I'm just trying to rearrange them and see if there was a better spot for it, but in the end, I'm going to put it down on the right-hand side. As I was working on this spread, the picture of the sunrise that has the word morning, I was thinking that it would be great to put a piece of chipboard above the morning. So that's what I did. I picked one out and I'm going to add it to the top of it. Right now I'm just trying to figure out which piece of chipboard I want to add. But I'm going to go with the word remembering. And that is from one of Ali Edwards' story kits. And I think that just finished it off in the right way. Next up is that I wanted to add a little circle piece to the photo of Noah and his friend. Our church held a trunk or treat the night of Halloween. I took this picture of Noah and his friend that night, and they decided to be the same thing for Halloween, except one wanted red and one wanted black. And so I'm going to add a little circle piece right above where I added some journaling onto the photo, and I just love how that ended up. I'm going to move over to the other side and work on this journaling card here. This one is going to be all about us watching Stranger Things. Season 2 had come out a couple days before this week started, and we wanted to rewatch Season 1. My husband and I decided that we would let my oldest daughter watch this first season with us and then continue with Season 2. And she got really into it, and it was really fun to watch her watch it. So I'm trying to figure out this journaling card, and for some reason, this one gave me a lot of trouble. I'm not sure why. Whatever I put on there, I didn't really like. And so I just tried to figure something out and look through all of my supplies until I found something that worked, which will be here in a little bit. At first, I was just going to add that cork piece underneath the title, and then I have my journaling down at the bottom. So I left that card for now and went ahead and worked on the photo, the last one that I printed. And this one is of my bedroom, and I had recently gone through and painted and deep cleaned the carpets and the window and all of that. And so I have this photo that I took because it took up a big chunk of my week. I'm going to put the word yes onto the photo right above where I have some journaling. And I'm going to use a ruler. And I've done this before in the past. I'm sure you guys have seen people do this or do it yourself. It works pretty well. That way you can use the ruler to make it straight and just press down the letters and you can get them exactly where you want them. Let's talk about a couple more of the photos from this week. The one at the top on the left-hand side is one of Caitlin, and she was a vampire for Halloween. And so I got that one at the trunk or treat. And then the one on the bottom, on the very far left, is of Noah. And I gave him the chore of getting all the candy ready for that night. And he took it very seriously. It was pretty cute to watch. So I took a photo of him. And I added another digital brush from Paislee Press onto the photo that says trick or treat. And that pretty much sums up our week. We had Halloween and I was busy painting and we watched a lot of Stranger Things. And I am glad that I have these photos to remember this week and what happened. So let's talk about what I am doing now. Let's get back to what I am going to do to finish up this spread. I am going to stamp the word to-do list onto the bottom of the card that talks about Stranger Things. And that pretty much sums it up because Caitlin was all about watching it at night. And she had to make sure she was done with everything else. And then we could go ahead and watch some Stranger Things. So I put that on the bottom. This was the point where I decided that I didn't want to put the cork piece back on. I wanted to find something else. So I'm going to leave it for now and work on this card that says Hello Beautiful that has the pumpkin on the top. I've gone ahead and stamped a little label down at the bottom and I'm going to put a few little embellishments in the label. I've picked out a word strip and this one is from the recent Studio Calico kit. I think it was from October, but I could be wrong. I'm going to go ahead and glue that pumpkin there at the top of the word hello. Then I'm also going to add a little star onto the bottom in the label. At first I had that big star, but I thought it was too big, so I'm going to switch it out for a little one here. Okay, so now you'll see what I'm going to do with the Stranger Things card. I have found a label, a nice yellow one that goes along with the color scheme. And I'm going to add a tiny little banner. And then I'm going to also add a star. And it's going to make a nice little cluster. And you know I like stars, so that is basically my go-to embellishment, if you haven't noticed. In the end, I am happy with how it came out. Here's a little look for you. And then I'll go ahead and put it back and move on to my last card. My spread is pretty much complete. I have one final journaling card that I want to add. I've gone ahead and created this journaling card using one of the digital brushes from the same Paislee Press set that I've used. And it has the word costume and it goes vertically on the card. And I've also added a bunch of journaling on the other side. And now I'm just trying to figure out if I want to add a couple of embellishments onto the card here. As I'm putting this card together, I'm noticing that I don't like how big the word costume is. And so I went ahead and reprinted it and made it smaller. It's definitely much better now. And I'm going to go ahead and just put a word strip and then a puffy sticker. And then this card is done along with my spread. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video. I want to thank everyone for coming and all your likes and comments and all you new subscribers out there. I want to say hello. So stay tuned for some close-up pictures and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.